Almost where the hell the record button is at, but it is recording.
Dang.
And we're recording. We're live. We are live.
And we live.
We live. So yeah, Jake, get okay. How's life? How's everything? How's your week going so far, man? What's going on?
Everything is great, brother. Actually had a meeting, virtual meeting. It wasn't able to take place in person, but a meeting, to discuss my future, to discuss my progress, things like that with my bosses. Um, I work for a multi, I guess you can call it a multinational global brand,
Yeah,
and
multi.
kind of ascending through the company, or so that's the objective. Been able to do a little bit of that in the short amount of time that I've been there, and it's been good. I went in there without giving too much information yet because I'm not really too comfortable, or
Yeah,
with
don't get the social out
any
yet.
company or corporation, that you have to be careful with what you say. I mean, it is what it is. The only thing I'll basically do is like not mention it by name. But anyway, it's a great corporation, great company to work for. They treat the employees very well, and they present a lot of benefits to working there. And also, once you start going up, the pay is very competitive. So I've been blessed with that, because before that, I was working for a lot of smaller companies. I was working for a lot of smaller mom and pops, which is great. I was a server. Um, and my girlfriend was very right. I will say this: when you are not sure if you're a good person or not, or also if you don't know if you have people skills and how to kind of like
Mhm.
handle high pressure situations, go work at a restaurant, plain and simple.
Oh my
Because let me tell you
God, I
something,
can
bro.
tell you stories
You
about
think you
working.
might, well, you'll share them in a second. But let me tell you something. You may think you know people. You may think you know a little something about the world until you fucking serve somebody, um, and you're gonna come across a lot of nice people, tons of nice people, great conversations. Many doors might open because of that, if you're sociable, and if you know how to communicate and network. Uh, but um, but you're gonna meet a lot of fucking ogres. Like, you're gonna meet so many people that have absolutely
Fucking
no
Shreks.
idea what it is to speak to another person, or just articulate something when they are maybe not as pleased. I mean, there's plenty of times that I go somewhere and I'm not happy with the service, or I'm not happy with or the way something came out. But I understand that things happen. I understand that the waiter is not the cook and the owner of the place most of the times.
Yeah,
So
they're not always at full fault for what's going on.
of course not. I mean, you have some shitty servers, and it's funny. So the point I'm making is that my girl tells me, she goes, I have aspirations. My background is in hospitality in general. I've been doing this for more than 10 years, and I'm pretty good at it. But I have aspirations, or many years ago I got some ideas, and in lieu of, how should I put this? If I wasn't gonna like spend the time going back to school, right? She's like, "Well, you got to get real life experience
Yeah,
in
real
these
training.
situations," which I had, because my mother and my grandmother before that. Obviously, my grandmother was just more so stories that I heard, and the work ethic that I knew about, and things like that. And then my mom's business I knew firsthand. You know that my mom had a business, basically a catering service. They
Yep.
catered events, but they also did, before it was super popular with the healthy food. She did a daily meal plan, basically. So cantinas is what they call them, if you're familiar with that. And it was great. She had the business for about 16 years at the brick and mortar. Um, and then when she stopped that, she kind of continued it from home. And so I knew what the business was like. I knew what it was like to to have perishable items, to what it is to operate a food safe and ready environment. So
Mhm.
without boring you, I knew that aspect, but my girl's like, all right, so but you need to know a little bit more, and and she wasn't wrong. Like, the experiences that I've been able to 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 take in, and now make it part of my repertoire, have been, bro. You couldn't learn these things sitting behind a desk, or
You
sure,
got to
some
go
people
through
can
the
read.
fire in order to experience it firsthand. And that really,
100%.
that experience right there is worth more than a title, more than a degree in most places, in more cases.
I will say this, even with degrees and titles, which I mean, I'm not going to diminish that. At the end of the day, a formal education is worth a lot, but even they have to at some point get experience, whether that is in the form of an internship, paid or unpaid, whether that is some sort of volunteering, things like that in the field, right? But anyway, so um, well, I don't know where I was getting. I know that I was telling you where I was
No,
working
we
at
were
now.
talking about, you're basically saying about you have to start somewhere, whether it's an internship, a partnership, or just volunteering to get the experience in order to apply your degree. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, so that's where I started, and that was tremendous. So then I decided to take a chance with this company, and I started from the bottom, kid. I started from the bottom, basically doing everything that you don't want to do. Going through some of the hard stuff, especially with the pay. I mean, I've had well-paying jobs. I've had tenure in other places, but this place showed me potential for growth and a career if I wanted it, and at worst a tremendous experience being paid now, like I said, a decent salary, and hopefully in a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two, maybe there's I have something else to report, maybe a promotion, an
Boy,
augmented salary.
all that hard work you've been putting in, bruh. I mean,
Man.
listen. You, I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't be surprised. Put it like that, because I know how much of a hard worker you are and what you put into your craft. So
I
that's
appreciate that. I
practice.
mean, frankly, to your point, there's no reason to be surprised. Like I'm being intentional with how I'm approaching this place. There's a lot of people that even older than me or younger that have done great things really quickly. So those are the ones that I kind of hearing their stories. I was already modeling my approach, because it's like it's life is what you make it, man. Some people have a better vantage point, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I went in there with a very, very particular disposition in terms of how the hell am I gonna not spend time comiendo mocable? How am I gonna not spend time,
You're gonna have a hard
making.
time, but listen, you have to go through it. Eventually, no matter how
It
good,
wasn't even that hard, dude. The hard part was
unless
just,
you get the opportunity. I'll say this: unless you get the certain opportunities, you have to go through that grind of just getting the acknowledgement that, listen, I have more of value than what you're putting me through at the moment. I have more to give and more to
right.
it.
But there's some places that you'll go through it, and they don't really have much more to offer, or if it's not
Like a dead end
as
job.
healthy.
Like it
Uh,
has its limits
right,
before you get to it.
right, of course. But that's the broad term, really. Like, there are a lot of places that could offer you tremendous opportunities, but there's a pecking order or there isn't one. Maybe there's just a lot of favoritism, nepotism, and that happens. That's
I
not.
hate.
Let's be real.
I honestly do believe me. That to me, I think is the biggest cancer in any workplace. Favoritism and just the lack of understanding the value of each employee that you have under you, and now recognizing, because you're so used to having them work as hard as they work, and say, no, I'm content with keeping that person in that position. Like, I'm meeting my status quo uh, as either a supervisor, manager, or a business owner, and they never give that access to other people to move up. So I'm like, bro, when you said that, I was like, that's
Yeah,
one
man.
thing.
So
Favoritism.
we're there.
Llega su gente, eso es, dale por ahí, dale. No, bro. Because then
Yeah.
you let the other people around you see what's going on, and it's like, yo, like, what the fuck? I'm
What the
busting my
fuck,
ass.
man?
Y aquí estoy, luchando, dándole duro el palo, y tú, you know what I'm saying? And you're not giving
Estás
me.
ahí haciéndote bonitillo,
Yeah,
haciéndolo
bro, what's
well,
up? Am
en
I over
tremenda,
here
tremenda.
cutting coconuts? Damn.
Damn, dog. You guys, what kind of job you work, homie?
No.
So
I'm saying the general aspect. Like, for me, like, I was blessed because I came into this company that I'm at now. I didn't know jack about anything in my field. And basically my hard work and ethic, I said, you know what? I'm 34 now, basically. I don't have a degree. I went to school a little bit, but I didn't end up doing what I wanted to do.
I'm 33 now, but will I ever see 34 the way things are
Oh,
going? I don't know.
hey,
Who's that? Who that? Can you quote the man? Can you
I
quote
can't quote shit, but I could
Oh,
definitely
that's
name it. What's
Coolio,
up?
man. Gangsta's
Who?
Paradise. Instead of 33 going to 34, he was 23 going on 24.
Oh,
Tell me
23 and
why
24.
are we so blind
To
to see?
see that the ones we
We
heard
heard
are
all
you and
you
me.
and me. Pow!
Hey now,
Yo,
woo!
that's a hard beat, dog. That's a hard beat. That shit
Fucking
still holds
hard
up to
ass
this day.
beat, bruh. Esa
Yeah, but
vaina, bro. Every time I hear that song, I want to go to the gym. I'm like, fuck, bro. Reminds me of those days when I was in New Jersey, yo. I'm like,
I
nah.
feel like pumping iron. Whenever I hear Coolio, I want to pump some iron. That's what I want to do.
Extensions. Let's go. Like, yo,
Let me
calm the
do what I
fuck
want to
down,
do when
bro.
I'm listening to Coolio. So another good thing that's happening,
Yeah.
it comes around every single year, and it's my birthday, motherfuckers.
Yes,
Your boys
sir.
turn. Speaking of 33 going on 34, well, this is the case that's taking
Sweet
place. This,
16.
yo, that sounds really good on the microphone, and that was a tremendous reference to that MTV show with the most annoying fucking people I've ever seen in
Oh
my
my God.
life, bro.
So fucking,
Oh
I
my
would
god,
say,
why is he giving me a Mercedes when I wanted a Ferrari? You know, like that
what
was
was,
the kind of dumb.
what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's not,
Bro, this girl was crying about getting a badass whip back in the day. Meanwhile, I'm driving a 1990 Acura Legend whose electric seats don't work. I'm basically
yo,
driving this close to Do you remember the Legend?
I remember that one. And I remember
That was
also me
it
driving my
was a good
mom's
car,
Camry
bro.
around.
It was a good car. It's my first car ever. My grandfather gave me that car. He took immaculate care of the car. In fact, when I got it, it was like as good a 1990 Acura Legend as you can find. He even reupholstered the seats
Acura
at some point when
Legend.
he owned it.
You know who has an Acura Legend? I actually posted it the other day. And still in mint fucking condition, bro. Beautiful. Ludicrous. He still has his original, I think it's 1997.
Well, let me
Legend.
tell you,
That
everything
fucking
is
car is
cyclical.
beautiful.
So you have your classics from the '60s, you have your classics from the '70s, '80s, blah 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 blah. But now, right now, the boxy '90s cars and like late '80s cars, those are the thing. I've personally been
Clean.
after for a long time an E30 chassis BMW. Basically, for anywhere from 1982
Hold
to
on. Didn't we
1992.
have somebody that we knew had a BMW?
El Gordo, your favorite, your
I was
favorite.
like,
I can
and
already see
funny
the
enough, one of
twinkle.
my
I can see the
coworkers
twinkle in your
had,
eye.
I think, two of those. I'm like,
No, seriously, is he willing to sell one?
nah, nah, nah.
Yo,
That
well,
man,
as time passes, obviously
really
things
wants that.
become more rare. Um, and I've been after one for a long time, and that's my main goal. I like new cars and all these things,
Yeah.
and new cars obviously offer a slew of safety features that these older cars don't have. But there's a quality. I mean, I'm a responsible driver, thankfully, but there's a quality um, of aesthetics and even that car is very very highly touted for being really ahead of its time and starting something in the car industry. So anyway, E30 BMW, I would love to have maybe like a four door, a two
Ooh,
door is fine,
a two-door
but
Ford package. Ooh.
just well, dude, well that's the car that started the M series. I remember. So here's the thing. The racing brand for the motorsports brand for BMW. It started with the 3 Series, the E33 series, and it's obviously gone through almost every single one of their models right now. But I'll tell you how this has worked. So M3s were always obviously a high performance car, but once people come around to something, it's unbelievable how crazy the value goes. Because I remember seeing on some like one of these like buy here pay here's, I saw an M3 E30, 1988 or 89 or something like that. amazing condition, a lot of restoration, but it was generally kept in original form. Maybe
Yeah.
except obviously the brakes and things like that. But
Yeah,
dude,
wear and
and
tears.
this is 2007, 2008, I want to say around that time. And I remember that the guy was like, "Oh, it's $12,000," and I'm like, "Ah, this car's like 20, almost like 20 something years old." First of
Well,
all,
those us.
second, you know what I'm saying? Like 12 stacks. That was unheard of to me at
But
that
you'd
time.
be
Well,
surprised with some of these cars. I'm talking about like the value. It's kind of like the Jeep. You had a Jeep before. You know what I'm talking about. Those
although
Wranglers.
yeah, but those don't lose value
They
because
keep
they're
that
they're just
value
so
high.
utilitarian.
You know.
They're a very utilitarian car though. Like we're talking about a car that like bro, you can do anything to it. That inline six. I mean, we're not a car enthusiast podcast, but we're we talk
Hey,
about
listen,
everything.
we dabble in a little bit of everything. You know.
A dibble dabble, but you know your way around a car. But
Yeah.
anyway, so real quick, let me finish the thought on the E30. So $12,000 about 12 to 13 years ago, a lot of money, right? Like yeah, it's too rich for my shit. Guess what? Had I made that investment, even with inflation, right now you cannot find an E30 M3 for anything less than about that's in good condition. Not it doesn't even have to be mint, but just respectable
Yeah.
condition. $45,000 to $50,000. If you find anything less than that, good for you.
That's
But
like buying Amazon when it was in the low beginnings.
in the low
That's a hell
beginnings,
of an
that is,
investment right there, bro.
you should coin that term, the low beginnings.
Low
That's a
beginnings.
good
Hey,
term.
there you go. Low beginnings, bro. You know how
So
it is.
like you had a pretty cool car. So I'll let you
Oh
speak about it.
man.
But this guy had what is it,
Oof.
180 SX, a little drifty drift.
Yeah, I had it was a Nissan 240 SX, a 93 model. The last year I
Oh,
actually
I
had
thought
the
it was a
hatchback.
180. Never mind. Okay.
Well, I was doing the conversion, which is to those people that are not really like into cars like that. My model of car was made in Japan, but exclusive to the Japan market, which was the 180 SX, which came with a turbo engine, two different type of engines, the red top and the black top. And that car is beautiful, beautiful. So in America, we had the conversion, and you basically chopped off the front end and you put it from another car, and then you swap the engine. So you basically had a different car from what the manufacturer originally had on site. But man, I love that car. I spent
Well, there was a
I
point
think I
in
bought that
time
car
where
for like
you
what
were.
$2,000, and I ended up putting like close to $10,000 in value into it. When
What? How, bro? That shit looked. I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't that nice.
no, well,
No,
you gotta
I'm not
remember,
kidding.
I bought an engine and a transmission,
I
and I never
remember
put it
that.
on, and I just left the
Oh,
engine both at a shop here in
I want to
Doral.
kill you, dog. I don't know. Like,
You know,
dude,
and it was at
they
a point.
talk.
It was at a point that honestly, to me, I was like, I went through like a midlife crisis in my early 20s, and it's weird to say.
A
And
quarter
I
life
just
crisis,
left
yeah.
I left the engine, I left the transmission. I even sold the car to CarMax for like
I
about
remember. And you
less than
walked,
a
you
thousand
drove,
fucking dollars. I'm like,
my
I
dude,
don't know
you
what
would have been
happened.
better had you walked out. You drove away with a Mazda Protege.
The worst car in the human history, the Mazda Protege. That thing was fucking terrible. I hated that car. Turning the key the first time, I was hating that car already. And I was like,
Bro, why'd you
this is a
do it?
great beginning. And I was
Let
trying
me
to
ask
fool
you
myself. I was like, oh,
here again. I want to phrase this question very clearly, and I want you to answer it in the form in which it was asked. So you had a car that had
yes.
aesthetic value, that it had decent curb appeal, even to this day. It was a sporty car,
Yeah.
and not only that, you had already paid for the main components of a vehicle, except obviously for the chassis of the car, which was fine.
Yeah.
You bought a brand new engine and you bought a brand new transmission. You would have had a car that would still be running today. Um, what made you give that up? Be honest. I don't want the bullshit talk. I don't want.
Honestly,
Oh,
hey,
tell me what the fuck was running through your mind, bro? Because I want to slap you right now.
up to this day, I don't even know. I woke up one day and I said, fuck it, I just want to have like a little hoopty to get back to work and from work. Don't waste how much gas. And just a car is
Were
going
you
to be
finding were
reliable.
you finding that since it was an older car that you were just having too many maintenance issues? Was that
Um,
it?
I had replaced a lot of. I had one case that I was driving to work and my fuel lines basically gave out while I was driving. I missed a couple of days of work. I had to replace all the fuel lines, replace the fuel tank, everything in the car.
I drove off a cliff.
But the car started overheating, so I had to change the radiator. I had to change the lines also, timing belt. I had to change a bunch of things, and that's when I went and bought the engine. But it was just something I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done with this project car. I'm done with this shit. I'm just gonna buy a car, small little car, 4-cylinder, and get done with it. That's it. My my crazy moment still affects me to this day. I was like, man, I should not have gotten rid of that car. I should not.
You
But
know,
hey, listen, we all make our mistakes.
I'm not gonna bash on you too much. I just want to know what your reasoning was, because I mean, like, if something comes back that I mean, it doesn't haunt me, but I'm like, wow, I really fucked up there. I fucked up pretty good, which was with the car that you mentioned, which is I had a freaking badass Jeep Wrangler.
Fucking beautiful.
The new cars are great. The new cars are like, you got the 4 doors and you got all these other extra features. It's great. To me, a Jeep, at the end of the day, in the most fundamental form, it's utilitarian. So everything in the car has a function and it works the way it needs to work. And my car, dude, was these windows right here, a little roll down for real.
That power.
Those windows never give out, kid. Bro, especially when you're trying to open the passenger window, you feel like a swordsman.
Your shoulder you had those shoulders like
the
Dwight Howard.
Cuff was on point, son.
Bro,
so here's the thing. That car was I sold it in 2012. I bought it in 2007. And that car, when I purchased it, my dad and I, rest in peace to my old man, we love the story because this is when I was finished with the Acura Legend. And I'm like, I want a real car. I want, whatever. I have a job. If I need to pay a car note, that's fine. But I want to find something. We go to the Chevrolet that's on 42nd Avenue and 8th Street. And I was not at all thinking Jeep whatsoever mentally. I don't know what I was thinking about. I thought it was really cool. And I was like, man, maybe a sports car. It's really cool. Not considering, insurance and things like that as a young man. But it worked out. So I get there and we see this, beautiful black Jeep. It had like aftermarket wheels, but they were badass. They weren't like, obnoxious and like too gimmicky. They were just like solid, like, forged alloy wheels. Pretty cool. And so we approached the car and it was a manual. I wasn't really proficient at driving manual, stick shift. And when we get in there,
you probably cranked that a couple of times. Like,
oh, bro, so many times, bro. And it goes to show you how good of a car that it survived the first 2 weeks. That clutch didn't burn out on me. It was great. But here's the deal. So we get there and it was 3 years old at the time, 04 to 07, right? And the car had only like 25,000 miles. And on the windshield on the rearview mirror was the price, and it said like 12,000 something. So we test drove it, fantastic. I still wasn't 100% on it, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sleep on it. And then so the next day, my dad was like, yo, well, let's go get some auto traders so we can build a little bit of some reference here to see how much the car costs. So we see the same exact. So I took down, before I left the dealership, I took the VIN number, I took all the information of the car, and so we see the same car, same VIN number. Well, they were selling it for $18,000. That was the true price, because Jeeps, again, we were like a little skeptical. I'm like, are you sure it's a clean title? The other night, and the guy was like, bro, this is marooning, man. Like, we don't sell lemons here. And I'm like, all right, fuck, good point. So we're like, my dad and I looked at each other. We're like, let's go to the dealership, bro. So we go to the dealership. I buy the car, I financed it, and bro, best car ever, bro. Best car. I had so much fucking fun. It was a convertible, bro. And the great thing was that back then, they still have Sirius satellite radio. So the person that got the Sirius,
I think I remember.
They paid for the lifetime. So they paid a one-time fee. And I remember for almost a year, I think, I would hit the little satellite radio option on the, it was like a digital little center console. It wasn't like anything high tech. And satellite radio, it doesn't happen so much with newer cars, but still to a bit, to some extent, that has a little bit of a lag to start, right? So when I hit the button, I would wait like 5-10 seconds, and I'm like, oh, nothing's coming on. Whatever, fuck it. I guess it's just there. I guess it's just the hardware. So one day I was trying to like change my CD, and I hit the satellite radio, and I, wasn't paying any mind to it. But then I'm like, all right, it's been like 10 seconds of dead silence. What's going on? So when I go hit the button, right before I go hit the button, audio comes on, right? And I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. And I'm like, great, no problem. Maybe it's just like, one of these little, how like it's
like
just
commercial.
like the commercial or like the sample line, like, hey, sign up for Sirius Satellite Radio. Here's a trial, whatever.
We got the best concerts. But first, you got to sign up for satellite radio. I'm like, damn,
sign up for a 5-year contract, bro. Yeah. This is, it's hard to relate to because it's been so long and we don't really do things this way. So, lo and behold, satellite radio was the thing, and the subscription was paid for the lifetime of it. So I had no way of knowing what station was what station, unless obviously you start picking up on what kind of music is coming through, the genre and whatever. So what I had to do was go home. I had to go to SiriusSatelliteRadio.com, and I had to print out. I print out the index, the menu of, and I printed it out in color just so it was good. And I printed it out on like cardstock, so it's heavy duty.
Did you laminate it?
Almost. I didn't have access, bro. But let me tell you, I had a phone.
You hang it with the little thing in the middle. So it's always dangling.
Nah. I did old school. Oh, so I had it like this, and I was like, I'm tired of this channel. Give me a second. So I pull up the thing, and I'd be like, the fuck do I want to listen to right now? Awesome. Sirius satellite station.
You had the little thing on a chain. You throw it back. Fuck this shit.
I threw it back. Fuck, I don't need it right now. But then when I needed it, I was like this. I want to change the channel.
Hold on! You don't see me trying to get the channel.
Don't you see that? I'm trying to set the tone. Dude, it was great, man. That Jeep. And so I was foolish. And one day I was like, I don't really want the Jeep anymore. And so I sold it. I sold it for a fair market price. They didn't really take me or anything like that. I sold to a private buyer. And that was that. What are you gonna do? I ended up getting like a pickup truck after that. That pickup truck it's actually still in the family. My mom has it up in Coral Springs. Yeah. Tremendous little car, but nothing special.
That's
the Jeep was special, dude.
That's the
it's like a Mitsubishi Raider or something.
Yeah. I think I've seen it.
It's like a Dodge Dakota with Mitsubishi badges. Like Chrysler built it. Nothing impressive. But it's a solid truck.
You said it's like a Dodge, but with Mitsubishi tags.
Well, don't you know that's cars do that? So, car companies sometimes will use the platform of another company. So, say for example, you have not so much like how like Acura and Nissan and Acura and Honda, Infiniti, Nissan, Lexus, Toyota. Those are like
kind of like the high end version of the
right. But this is not what I was trying to use it as an example. It's not really a great example. It's like I don't know if you've ever noticed that like I guess it's the same thing. Ford and Mercury, Lincoln Mercury were basically the same. Before it used to be Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury. So you would see that you had a Ford Explorer, and then Mercury had
the
Mountaineer.
The Mountaineer.
Well, there you go. You did.
It looked exactly like it.
Exactly. So that's the same thing that happened here. Sometimes they even go across company lines, even if there isn't any affiliation, because Ford and Mercury were affiliated. But to give you a very relevant recent example, you have the new Toyota Supra. The reason that it's a very nice car. Here's the thing. The reason it was very, very, very controversial initially was because Toyota didn't develop the platform from scratch. They went with a BMW platform that already existed. It's actually a very nice BMW. So what they did was it's the same chassis, I think, and even down to some aspects of the interior. It's a Toyota, but it has a lot of like BMW characteristics, right? So they'll do that, and that's what happened with this car. And I'm like, wow, it looks like the cut looks a lot like a Dakota. And lo and behold, when you look at the engine bay, it says like engine built by Chrysler, blah 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 blah. So that's always been interesting to me. So not every time. Sometimes cars don't want to spend the time and the R&D and the research
Yeah, because it may
and the
take a longer
engineering.
time period for them to actually get the concept of the chassis and get the aerodynamics. If you already have another company or another brand that already had worked it out and it's
Right.
kind of similar body style, you can work with that. You
Right.
can work with
Right.
it.
So that's what it was. And, like I was like, cool. At that time I was like, I want a pickup truck. I think it's going to be cool. It's, it's useful. I mean, honestly, when you don't have a pickup truck, you need a pickup truck. When you have one,
That is so
dude, I
fucking true.
barely ever used the bed of that truck. I used it several times. When I was doing a lot of the thrift shows, so I would obviously load up the hell out of that pickup truck. So it's definitely functional. It's always beneficial if you have the chance to have a little one. So right now, besides the E30, not to stay too long on car talk,
Yeah.
um, what's really hot at the moment are old SUVs, early stage SUVs, and pickup trucks, man. And they appeal to me big time. So like we're talking, obviously the Bronco, and the Bronco's making a comeback. Obviously,
I
I'm sure.
saw, and it was being chased by, I think, a couple cop cars.
No, what? It's not 1994.
You
You
are so
asshole. That
funny,
that joke is tired, my dude.
I'm
Nah,
sorry,
but
bro.
hey,
It
so
had to
no,
be
but
said.
check it. No, it's coming. It's coming at the Jeep. Let me tell you, that thing is beautiful. First of all, it's not just one Bronco with the two doors like you were used to seeing all the way up until like I think
Four door?
1996. They have a two door, they have a four door, and then they have like a little like almost crossovery type situation. Amazing, amazing stuff. But what I'm also in the market, depends on what comes up
Look.
first, is an old school pickup, bro. Right now, if you come across a 1980s Toyota pickup truck, it
Bro,
didn't even
I've
have a
seen,
name.
and you know what's crazy? Exactly where you're going to. There's a Nissan pickup truck. You know what I'm talking about. It's a small little two-door
Was it
pickup.
Nissan or was it when it was Datsun? I mean,
No,
yeah,
it's a Nissan. They have Nissan and they have the Toyotas, Toyota Rangers that they
no, it's
are
Ford, bro. You
working
don't know
on.
jack shit about cars anymore, bro. First of all, Ranger is a Ford pickup truck.
Is it Ford? No, no, no. I'm not
Yeah,
talking about.
Ford
I'm not
Ranger.
talking about the SUV. The Toyota. What's the name of it?
The Toyota Accord.
No, bro. Is I know one of them is the Nissan. It's the Nissan small pickup, and which is fucking amazing. And I've seen it by my house actually. A guy across the street has one. Clean. I'm talking about clean.
Yeah.
Painted it, has a clear windows, everything. It looks bang.
Dude, it's awesome. Right now, the Datsuns are I think this is like the 620 is the model from before they fully turned into Nissan here in the States. That car, it's like a little simple, bro, like bare bones pickup truck, but it's so cool because I now obviously pickup trucks are robust. They're as luxurious as anything else. It's really cool going back in time in these type of cars where it's like, wow, this is bare bones shit over here.
Huh.
Toyota, same thing. Toyota, when they decided to start developing the pickup truck here in the States, they didn't even fucking name it. I think it had a cool name in Japan, but they didn't transfer the name over. So then later when they were like, wow, we have something good, and they started getting some momentum with sales, and it was time to develop a new platform for a new chassis. Then they named it. I think it was the Tacoma. Obviously, the Tacoma nowadays is still an excellent pickup truck. It's super expensive, even used. But anyway, car talk, fun.
It was good.
Yeah, dude.
It was good.
If you
I
guys,
think
hey, well,
we got a couple
anyone
good
that's
things.
listening to this podcast right now, if you happen to have a
Yeah.
knowledge of anyone with an E30, yourself or somebody, whether you want to sell it or not, I'm always interested, always in the market. Or if you have an old school pickup truck, ooh, the Chevy 454 or 455, I forgot the model, another cool truck. I just like vintage stuff. You know me,
It
I'm a
was
thrifter. We talked about this last time. I'm a thrifter. I appreciate things from yesterday. It's something cool. It's cool to revisit the mentality of of what people were demanding at that time,
Mhm.
whether it's style, whether it is in vehicles, whether it is housing, architecture. I don't know, man. Like this, I love modern things too. Don't get me wrong, man. Especially like food. I hate it
Do
when my food
you
is old and moldy and stuff. But that was a bad joke. That was a fucking horrible joke.
do you remember there was a big thing about the Honda Accords back in the day?
They were getting stolen left and right.
No, not the Civics. Not I'm talking about like back in 2000. I'm talking about like 1998, 99 that had those old box model Honda Accords that everybody was into.
Yeah, but yeah, of course. Everything.
Or-
I remember people used to put Lorenzos on
Yes. Now you know. Now you know. All right,
those
so
old
car
school
talk
little
is
Lorenzo.
over.
Damn. Okay.
You
Cool.
like that,
Pull the
right?
plug on it.
Yeah, so this week, what has gone up, what has gone down? I've
Well,
basically
for the Miami people, dog, you know, what a game. Well, first off, so we took care of the Bucks. That was tremendous. That
afuera
is
Bucks 5 games,
nothing to,
baby. We gave them a
bro.
gentleman's sweep.
A gentleman's because we got manners, man. Don't forget your manners, kid.
You gotta be kind.
Uh,
You gotta be kind to your neighbor.
yeah, man. Kind of your
Far ass
neighbor
neighbor.
and gentlemen sweep them. But bro, that was amazing. So you got to be proud of these guys. And it's to Miami Heat fans out there. It's I think I said this last podcast, but it's not hyperbole when I'm telling you this is one of my favorite teams to
I
watch, bro.
fucking love this team and their energy, and everybody plays their role so well. And it's like
Yeah,
you kind of know how the game is gonna play out and who's going to pick their spots, sir. I know that Jay Crowder is left open at least twice every quarter, and he is draining them bad boys.
he's
Duncan
knocking them down.
Robinson, Mr. Marathon himself, always running. Tyler Hero, like
He's
his
always
coach.
running, but let me tell you, Duncan Robinson, even going back to the Milwaukee series, has been losing some minutes because the guy just he hasn't really been knocking down shots
And
like he was
he's
at.
becoming a foul prone. He's like,
I actually heard this somewhere in the morning. I think it was the Dan Levitard show, and they were talking about how they think, and it's really possible that he had an interview with Ramona Shelburne on ESPN, I think, and he was talking about how when he since he's an undrafted free agent, and he kind of came out of nowhere. He was developed again, by the Heat and in their developmental league, and then back with the big team. He was mentioning that when he was finding himself on the court or just working within the big, the NBA team, the Heat,
yeah,
that he had something called he felt something called imposter syndrome, and
yeah,
I ended up and it's like
it's a
when,
real
when you're
thing.
somewhere, yeah, and you feel like you don't really belong,
And you
and
feel
that
like you're doing something, but it's not really your doing. You're like, okay, I'm pretending to be this person that I'm not.
right, and you just at any
I
moment
don't feel it.
someone is gonna find out or expose you for being a fraud, and this is like a mental phenomenon, right? That happens with people, and a lot of smart people, a lot of capable people, they go through this and they end up undermining themselves. They sell themselves short. They sell themselves short. And so the point being was that they said that, man, I'm sure that even let's say when he has a tough game, they're like they have this to kind of remind him of, or just kind of like throw back in his face, even if
Yeah.
it's not in a malicious way. They're like, oh, you talked about being an imposter. Maybe he's kind of feeling the weight of the moment, blah blah, blah,
Mhm.
all these things. But when the fact remains that we've seen it a million times with shooters. Sometimes they run a little cold, But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy with him because he really was doing so well this season. Like he hit uh, a record amount of threes. For
Yeah, for an
somebody.
undrafted rookie, I think he broke the record for the Miami Heat as an undrafted rookie, and especially a D3 to a D1 to going undrafted to being a starter. You don't see that, and I
Yeah,
honestly think that it's also because the Miami Heat scouting and their coaching staff and how they're able to make these players utilize their players to the maximum of their personal ability is just fucking amazing. Like, look at Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn came through, and he was basically second in line to Rookie of the Year, next to John Moran. It's like, I mean, he's playing like shit lately. I'm like, bro, get this nigga.
Well, you know, it's true though. Also,
I love Kendrick Nunn, but bro, right now, cut his minutes out.
yeah, but no. Time out. Don't forget, dude. The guy
Out there,
like
no
had,
bricks, bro. He's just go.
Oh,
He's just
yeah,
out there
time
doing
out.
cardio, dog. I can do that. Come on.
Well, then why don't you got the Heat jersey on?
Go ahead.
Remember, the guy,
Yo, Riley. Hello, Riley.
the guy had
Okay.
first of all, the guy had the Rona. First of all, so you don't know if that.
So did Bam. Hold on. Don't start with that. So did Bam.
Yeah, but Bam's a freak, bro.
Oh, what I see.
Bam's a freak. Is that? Can you dispute that?
No, that guy is a fucking. I'm
Dude,
like, yo, I
that
wanted to get
block.
his jersey.
I think my wrist hurt just looking at that block.
Oh, I saw it. I was
How
like,
did his shit not break?
I'm like, no, I can't, dog. I can't.
Well, we're talking about the wrist, and he's like, la rodilla,
No, because
me duele.
I was watching a video today, and it's this doctor that he's basically talking about that whole play, how it plays out, and he's explaining how he could have easily tore his shoulder out. Like, he could have blown his shoulder with that one play because of how far back he had to hyperextend his arm. His wrist went complete extension, his elbow hyperextended, and he's like, he could have easily blown out his shoulder. But because the way that he's built,
he's fucking strong, dude.
He's able to just bounce back, and his body's able to adjust and absorb that high impact movement.
Bro, that's amazing, crazy. Bro. Dude, the guy, bro, Jason Tatum's a great player. He's a really good player.
6'7", 6'8", long arms. Talking about like this kid
he's 22, 23, so he's a superstar in the making. And that was gonna be a dunk that you were gonna remember, you know, and it could have really, I don't know how much you give credit to momentum or how, you know, how much you believe in that in these type of series, but that could have been something that would have sent a statement because it was a hard-fought game, and had they been able to pull it off and, you know, put the exclamation point with a dunk like that. But it's crazy how, dude, because everything was working in that direction. The guy was cocked back, ready to right there. And that's kind of how like you feel when you're like dunking. Not that I know the feeling, but if I was dunking in the NBA, I'd be like, here I come. Go ahead.
I'm right here.
200 jam, baby. Go ahead. You know. Anyway, dude.
Fucking banana.
And he was stopped at the rim. Not only was it stopped at the rim,
his hand went. This is the rim. This is the rim right here. He went.
Brother, it's one thing to knock it out into the second story of the damn place, and bro, he kept the ball. He made a play, bro, and he developed it into another play. That's big.
Hey,
that's big.
I don't mean to sound like a cocky Heat fan, bro, but I was not nervous watching that. And you want to know why? Jimmy Butler said it best in the post game. He said, "We're built for this. We're like technically like he's saying we're built for this fourth quarter overtime. That's what we're built for." And you know why? Because of the simple fact that Pat Riley said, I need ultimate athletes on my roster. You have to have this percentage of body fat on you. You just have to be in top shape to perform. And Jimmy Butler said, listen, if I would have been physically tired and drained by that time of the game, mentally, I wouldn't have been as sharp. So the conditioning that he's at that level that he's at right now, and they're all at that level, helped a lot with a quick decision. Bam didn't think twice. He was coming off. I think he was shading to Marcus Smart, the three-point line. Butler and Tatum started the drive, getting at the top of the key. Bam, he already knew. So he started rotating over. And of course, as he drops over, he met him right there. As soon as Jimmy saw Bam coming in, he just let him go. He's like, good luck with the monster right there. Good luck with the boogeyman. Boogeyman said,
amazing.
Out of my house, dog. Get out of here.
Bro, that's a big deal. But let me tell you, I mean, I think confident is I feel confident in this team because the team plays very well. The team
Yes.
just makes they
Super
play
enjoyable to
a
watch.
beautiful, yeah, bro, super enjoyable to
I
watch.
love it.
They make the extra pass. They get it to the right guy. They're
Unselfish.
cutting like crazy. Somebody said it. It's true. They look a lot, not obviously shooting
Of
wise,
course, like the
but
Warriors.
because they make the very similar cuts, and that goes to show you. Let me explain to you something. A lot of people haven't appreciated Eric Spoelstra. Let me tell you, brother. Besides Greg Popovich, he is the longest tenured.
And Rick Carlisle. Got it.
I'm talking. Well, Rick Carl's a
Those
good
three
coach,
coaches right there. But I mean, success wise, especially in the playoffs, I
but
think
it's not even.
Eric
But don't
Spoelstra
even
is right
mention
there
it.
with Pat.
Of course, well, you can't kind of measure that. What I like to use is that, okay, this guy, you've seen it before. I remember, the teams. I think it was '08 with the Heat or '09. Like he had some scrubs on that team. Besides D Wade, he had like a young Michael Beasley that always
Michael
had so
Beasley.
much talent but never did jack shit. He had Jermaine O'Neal, an old ass Jermaine O'Neal, and he made it to the playoffs, and maybe he didn't do great in the playoffs, but he had a winning record. I'd rather, make it to the playoffs consistently than just be a loser, bro. Like, right now Milwaukee, maybe because they're also like a small market team or like a team like Cleveland. It took a once in a lifetime thing for LeBron to have been born in that
I
area
was
and
about to
be
say,
that
if he
good.
wasn't born in Cleveland, Cleveland
Of
never
course
would
not. Well,
have
of course,
been
because
that together.
what there's no emotional tie there. You have no emotional tie. But so whatever, he gets drafted. We already
Same
know the
thing
story.
for Giannis. Giannis, because he got drafted there as 18-year-old. Let
He
him
got
get
drafted,
drafted
but I
anywhere
will
else. He's
I will
dynamite.
give credit. I will give credit because John Giannis wasn't just somebody that played college ball and you kind of heard about. The guy was from Greece, dude. The guy is from Greece. So it's like it would have been easy. Whatever. He's a European guy. We don't really know. He's kind of raw. Blah 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 blah. And they gave him the shot, and so they really developed that guy. But like this, like so back to Spoelstra though. So of course he won with the big three. But that, like, I appreciate it in another way though. Like the big three, sure, everybody thought when they had the celebration, which I went to in person, was actually a lot of fun. Um, when he goes not one, not two, not three, not
Oh
seven, or whatever.
yeah.
I was expecting 7 championships. Not gonna lie.
I was like,
Uh,
Dale, I'm down with 6, dog.
let's go. What he's like, he goes,
I'm
oh,
gonna be like
we're
Jordan.
gonna. He was talking about like bringing back. He's like, we can put Pat Riley out on the court, and we could
Yeah, I
still
think
we
he
could
could
still
throw
get
some
some
lobs. I
wins.
was like,
Yeah.
you got your coach
But
right there,
here's
bro.
the thing. It's easy
Emma.
to see that, and that haunted them for a long time unfairly. Why? Because, dude, first of all, you did something unprecedented. You had a team that was firmly another superstars in Dwayne Wade. That guy comes in. Chris Bosh comes in. And the level, and obviously the way that LeBron left, and had he left anyway, he would have gotten a lot of publicity. It's LeBron.
Yeah.
With the way that he left, with the 1 hour special and all that stuff, it was just like scrutinized like I've never seen another team scrutinized like that. They were every move that they did was just like, it was impressive. It was not like looking back on it. It was actually like we're fortunate that we had a team like that because that shit was some rock star stuff, and they backed it up. They won 2 championships. Um, but the challenge for Spolstra was, don't you remember the first 8 or 9 games? Like they didn't start off so high.
They
Everybody
were
thought they were
doing
gonna come
really
out
bad. I
like,
think they were
no.
9-8 at that point, and Pat Riley
I
had
remember
come
they
down, and
bumped.
I heard
I
this story
remember
from
LeBron bumped into Spoelstra. I don't know if you remember that. I
yeah
don't know
the,
if it was
the
on
the bump the
purpose,
bump gate bump
but
gate.
they made a big deal about that. Um,
ESPN couldn't
but
stop playing that damn
we
thing.
have to appreciate Spoelstra. Why? Because he got over that, right? And it wasn't just getting over, but he also saw, like he really revolutionized how we play the game even now. Like
Ball ball
that's
wasn't
when you start
introducing to us.
small ball when you had Chris Bosh taking 3 pointers. I remember the first time it was a game against the New Orleans Pelicans, or I think they were still called the Hornets back then. And dude, I remember like, yo, Chris Bosh knocking down threes. What the fuck? I thought Chris Bosh was gonna live down low. You know what I'm saying? I thought we were gonna have like a big man, and you know what? Credit to him because he
Finesse.
started. Dirk Nowitzki was that as well. But like that team was revolutionary, and I give credit to Spolstra because he endured what any other team that it was not as stable. That I give credit to the Heat for being such a stable organization. The last 20, ever since Riley, came on, you have stability. You have a GM in what's his name, Andy Ellisberg. You have
Oh,
Riley as the
that's the money.
president and the face, and you get like this coach that you bring up from like literally being a video coordinator all the way up to and the guy's a really smart coach. And you see that there was a couple times, no lie, I remember watching the Heat, and I don't know if you remember when Spoelstra would get set in these predictable lineup, or like these little, like he would like stick to like 7 or 8 people, these matchups, bro. He would always like they would frustrate me. His substitution patterns were always, I'm like, but why are you fucking doing this shit?
Predictable.
But whatever. But I give the guy credit because right now, like the team has, bro, they've cultivated guys, literally not just drafted guys, which they have because they drafted Bam, they drafted Hero. Those guys look like they're gonna be the
Fucking
solid ass
amazing.
future for a long time.
I'm not trading Hero for nothing. Forget that. Bam and Hero,
He's
untouchable.
only 20 years old. Did you see that pass that he made? The bounce pass to bro, that was gorgeous. And it's like that's when you're like, you see Kendrick Nunn, right? That Kendrick Nunn was.
I trade Kendrick Nunn right now.
But, right.
For a second round pick.
Nah, you crazy. No,
in cash consideration. I'll be like,
and cash consideration.
Here you go.
I might consider some cash.
No, hey, listen, I like Kendrick. He has a lot of potential.
You don't trade. No, that's not the.
He's a great scoring point guard. But the thing about it is that we have certain options, but when his playmaking has gotten better, but it's not up to the part right now, at least with his shooting, that it hasn't been as effective.
Anybody goes through a slump, bro. People go through a slump and he's young.
Bro.
What I mean,
cuando, bro? We're in the Eastern Conference Finals. It ain't time for you to start struggling now, bro.
Nah, it happens. Look, why don't you talk?
I'll bring
to Kawhi and Paul George about that
rotation if I have to.
Dude, long story is that they've cultivated. They have, and dude, it's wonderful to watch them play the way they are because you always want to watch that. Like, Let me tell you, we grew up on Hero Ball, and I remember and we celebrate Kobe and God bless him. But it's like it's also great when you start. You know how frustrated you get when you watch a player and there's a clear, beautiful play that he can make, and they just hog it and they chuck it up, or they play Hero Ball. What's that?
Well, you're not gonna laugh, of course. When I say that, you never laugh. Jason Tatum is driving to the basket with like 4 or 5 seconds on the clock. Marcus Smart is in the corner, wide open like this. Jason Tatum, I don't even think he even looked. He just tried to like say, "I'm gonna yam it."
In that case, it sucks because
I'm gonna yam it. I need these commercials to be about me. I'm like, bro, you're taking 4 back shots in overtime.
That shot that he took at the end of regulation.
Don't pass the ball. Shoot it.
The shot that he took at the end of regulation was a great shot. But I'll tell you this, that's the kind of shot that had he passed it up, even if it was the right basketball play, had he passed it up, people would have, and had it been missed, he would have been criticized. So, he took the shot. And that's the guy for Boston you want taking a shot at the last minute.
He had 30 bucks. He had 30 points, 18 rebounds, and a couple of assists.
Bro,
that's a hell of a fucking game.
And the Heat withstood
Marcus Smart, best freaking game. He had like 6 threes or some shit like that.
Yeah,
the guy thought he was Stephen Curry out there, bro. Before we were leaving on purpose. We couldn't last night. Last night it was like, bro, and this guy Wanamaker. Usually averages like, bro, 4 or 5 points. I'm pretty sure, or something like that. He was amazing. He had like 4 or 5 steals. Yeah. I'm like,
no.
They're a good team around this dude, man.
Look, Boston's a good team, and they have a good coach. They I think that if you're a basketball fan, this Eastern Conference matchup is actually very fun.
It's gonna be a long series.
It's competitive.
I think it's gonna go all the way to 5 games. It's a long series.
I think but you know what's funny? Okay, if you're on the wrong side, it sucks. But you can have, let's say you have a 7-game series, right? Okay, obviously seventh game, do or die. What's gonna happen? But you have like, let's say each game was lopsided. The score at the end was lopsided. The
Yeah,
other
it's
team
not
didn't
it's
play
not
well.
enjoyable.
So let's say, but how about the irony or the possibility as well that let's say you can have a four-game sweep, right? But each one of those games was a tooth and nail fight. That
That's
would
a
be
whole
interesting
lot
too.
more
Actually,
entertaining. That's
it could
really
be.
entertaining. Honestly,
Uh,
I'm gonna tell you something crazy about that and that you just said. Look at what happened with the 7 game series that the Nuggets and the Clippers had, and it ended up yesterday also.
mhm.
At the end, I think in the fourth quarter, I think they were blowing them out by like 20 points. And it was sad to see Kawhi Leonard sitting on the bench with Paul George. Like, he'll look at him sometimes like, you're the reason I'm in this mess. And
Well, no, actually, no. He's the
like,
reason he's in
yo,
that mess because he wanted to go there and he
yeah,
wanted to take Paul George with him.
I'm glad he's in that boat by himself now. Go ahead, take it. And not only that, they don't have a first round pick until 2027.
Damn, that sucks. Well,
That's
that's happens
bananas. When I
when you
saw that
make
stat
trades.
today, I was like, nah, ESPN, stop
When
it.
when you make those trades, that's when
They
that
gambled.
happened to the Heat. That's what happened to the Heat. Give me a sec. That
We
happened to the Heat
gambled,
when
but
when
they
um
gambled even harder.
when LeBron left.
Yeah, we started giving away those 4 year contracts to everybody. Just
Well,
here.
no, but I mean like trading away
Tyler
things
Johnson. Here you
to
go.
to get to get LeBron and Chris Bosh, believe it or not, they were free agents, but in order to get them on bird right contracts and to give them
Signing
that
trade, yeah.
flexibility, they had to do a sign and trade, meaning that they had to give up picks, which is it's crazy, right? Um, so that happens when you're trying to build a competitor. You mortgage the future because it's like you have to pay the piper sometime. Even
Look
even
at
a
the
team like
Knicks.
the
The Knicks
Heat.
have been paying that piper for a long
Oh,
time. All they're paying is
fuck
interest.
that.
They're not paying capital.
Fuck the Knicks, bro. The Knicks just don't know how to run a basketball team, bro.
Garbage ass
No,
Knicks.
don't, bro. That James Dolan, bro. He's like, it's his right to own that team, and
Nah,
it's
but
his right to
I'm
have.
happy that he does own the team. I hope he never sells it.
You know what? I love that the Heat are doing well. It'd be funner if the Knicks were relevant and just whooping that
No,
ass.
no, 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 no. Cut him out, Poppy. Cut him out. Leave the Knicks just where they're at, bro, for the next 200 years. Same position. Dolan, don't you dare
Damn.
sell. Give that franchise when you're passing on to your son, have him manage it the same exact way, and your grandkids and your grandkids. It may always be part of your family.
And may you live a long life.
And may you live long and prosperous life
That's right.
and
Well,
continue ruling
anyway,
that
this
family.
has been a fun podcast. We look forward to getting another one up pretty soon. This one took a little bit, like what, about a week to bring out. We want to be able
Yeah,
to.
we apologize to anybody waiting for the podcast. We've been going through a transition period. And not only that, our scheduling has been crazy. NoExcuses.com. But listen, we're here for the people. We love you guys. We want to bring that energy. Like I always say, any suggestions you guys have.
It's so funny that you're talking about energy. I'm here like
No,
yawning
los
like
dos
crazy.
estamos así, like, yo, we're fucking dying. I'm like, bro, I can't drink coffee because it's late. But I wouldn't mind getting a cup, you know what I'm saying?
When you make that little cut, don't forget the espumita, dog.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell you're not Cuban, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's whipped cream, first of all. Don't insult us like that, bro.
Hey,
You know
man,
what? Wait. You don't know what espumita is on your coffee?
talking about the
Yeah, when you get the sugar, you
yeah,
get a
yeah.
lot of
You
sugar.
break the sugar with a little couple drops.
You
Come
just
on,
get
man.
a
I've been
couple
living it.
drops, and there can't be
But
too
I've been
water,
living
and you
it
go
in
cluck,
Miami
cluck,
for a
cluck,
long
cluck,
time.
cluck, 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 cluck. When you hear cluck, 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 cluck. It is late, bro. But I don't
Coffee's
mind
ready.
taking. Bro, had it not been COVID right now,
We
I
go
would
get
have
some
just
coffee right now.
I'll be like, yo, I'm
Get
gonna
some
pick you up.
croquetas.
We're gonna pick you up. We're gonna go to La Carreta. We're
I
gonna
was
talk to
gonna
some
say
old
La
people.
Carreta, or even you know what? I don't mind going to Versailles like that.
Bro, I love going to Versailles and trolling the old people, bro.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I remember when was it? Oh, when was 2015, I think, when
you've been trolling that for a
Obama
while now.
or 2014. Oh, bro, I love going there. Well, first of all, the pasteritos at
Fire.
Adversarios are legendary.
Soft,
Let
flaky.
yes, yes, bro. If you give me that freaking stack of flakes, I will with a dollop of guava, I will throw that shit back in your face, old lady that served me that shit. I don't want that. Don't fucking give me that. That's nasty. All right. I want that soft, buttery flake with the plenty of guava right there that you could just like you just move it like that, like a fan. Que rico. But
Woo!
before we go, actually, I know we had like our false dismount there. The last 3 weeks to almost a month, I've made a very conscious decision: no sugar or sugar at the minimum, if possible. Very low carbs, like everybody's doing generally speaking. But it's so crazy how like sugar, if you are taking regular unhealthy amounts, bro, it's just so fucking unhealthy, man. It is. It does so much harm. Your metabolism goes to hell. I have basically been eating very not out of hand portions of whatsoever. I've never been really one to eat a lot of like a huge portion, but I've eaten solid, you know, and 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 I feel great, a lot of energy. Bro, I'm dropping weight like crazy. How does this happen? Oh, cut the sugar out, man. On
Soda,
Sundays,
sugar.
I'll have like my little cheat here and there. I'll have a donut because I'm a sucker for the pastry, bro. And but it's like the little decisions here and there, whether it's coffee, no sugar, thank you, or whether it's this, it's just making the better choices,
Yeah.
and it's been paying dividends, bro. And it's been paying
I've
dividends. I
been
think I lost
drinking
like
water
about.
like a freaking camel, dog. And
Well, you've also never had an issue with putting on weight. I mean, with like you have an issue putting it on because you want to at times.
yeah, I'm trying to gain weight, trying to gain some size, but it's almost impossible.
Are you back in the gym or what?
The COVID situation still has my gym over
So
here closed.
are you doing anything at home actually? Because you
I we've been we've been hitting some trails on the weekends now. We're doing trails, which I suggest to everybody. You know what? If you got the possibility to go out, enjoy nature, whether it's trails for walking, path, yoga, bike trails, that's what we're doing. And I freaking
so you don't have like a weight set at home. You
I
don't do
bought
push-ups.
one weight, which I went to. I think what was it? Target. And everywhere I've gone, Dick's Sporting Goods have no more weights. Walmart,
Oh,
nothing.
they're all sold out. Yeah, everybody. Yeah,
Everywhere. So I went to Target and we actually found one weight, a singular one, 15 pounds. I went ahead and bought it. And my girl's like,
there
why
you
you
go.
just
You
get
you
one?
you'll
I'm like,
fi-
well,
you'll fi-
baby,
you'll
I'll
find the
start
other one.
alternating. I'll do all the workouts, back, shoulders, tricep, even legs. I'll do everything with just one little weight. I don't
There you
care because
go.
right now we don't have, there's nothing out there. It's like the bicycle shortage. Everywhere you go is like, yo, it's a bicycle shortage.
Well, that's if you go to like Walmart and shitty places
No,
like that. But
no, not just it. Almost everywhere, except for like those 5, 6, $10,000 bikes that you want to go get. But even some of those bikes are hard to find right now.
hey, I think we had this is like the second time that I get like the yawn
Yeah,
attack
this is
while
a the long yawn part
the
deuce
long yawn.
based
Long
on a
Yon,
true story.
Long Yon Silvers. Anyway, so hey, we love y'all. Appreciate you guys spending time with us. We'll be back next time. Maybe we'll have Eddie on it, or maybe we'll also, we had a lot of fun with Eddie, and then we
What's
may
up?
also have a couple of other extra guests that we are looking forward to bringing on, just to get a fun dynamic, a little bit of a different dynamic. So,
Ladies, y'all.
piss.